Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Prep Life Podcast. This is your founder and CEO of Glam Bikini, Amy Anger. And today I'm here with my fabulous co host, Chris. Introduce yourself and one other fabulous person.
Hey everyone, this is Chris Nicole, Glam Girl Bikini Coach and IFBB Bikini Pro.
And today
Hey,
we have a special guest, Celeste Rains Turk. Yay!
yes. Hey everyone. Hi again. It's awesome to be back. I'm excited for what we're sharing today. I am a mental health professional who supports competitors in their relationship with food, body image, and their goals. And I also run Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast, so you might recognize me there if you haven't met me here before.
Yes, I'm sure they recognize your voice for sure. And can you let us know what the name of your company is?
Yes, well, it's build more than just a body. That's the mission, that's the message. So that's usually what I would say, although technically it's my name. But yes, it's build more than just a body.
Okay. Yes. So we are once again hosting a retreat together, which I'm super excited about. We've actually been able to do this every year since 2020, which we did it on our own at Glam Girl just the first year in 2020, right before the world shut down. And then last year, we had the amazing opportunity to pair up with Celeste, and she brought in the mindset because our first retreat was, it was a lot of workouts, it was hiking Camelback Mountain, it was posing and all of those fun things. But I felt like the part that we really needed was the mindset training. And it's, I think that that's a piece that all bodybuilders need in the sport. We need a strong mentality, just like we need a strong body. And so I, just on a whim, kind of mentioned that to you, and you have this whole beautiful curriculum, and it was just such a nice pairing last year. So I'm super excited to do it again. And for those of you that don't know about the retreat, it's our season kickoff retreat that is open to the public, not just Glam Girls, not just Celeste community, build more than just a body, but it's something for the whole community. And I think last year we had people from other teams. We also had people that had never competed that were just interested in fitness and being around some strong, empowering women. And it was an amazing event. So this year we're hosting it at the same location. It worked very well. It was at the Arizona Grand Resort and Spa in Phoenix, Arizona. And it will be exactly a month from today. So February 17th. So you'll get there Friday night or Friday evening, and then events will kick off on February 18th on Saturday, and they will go through Sunday at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Was there anything I missed that you ladies wanted to add before we move on?
I
I think
think
we
so.
covered the basics. Yeah, I'm really, really honored to be doing this again with you guys. It was so awesome last year, like the connection with everyone. I mean, even the yoga you led, like that was awesome. We had the gym pretty much all to ourselves and had
hmm
an epic workout together. It was a real competitors retreat. And I think we even had some people who hadn't competed before but wanted to or were considering it, which is awesome as well. So to anyone out there listening who is looking for a community to be part of or just looking for connection, I mean, even if you just came for that, you'll fulfill that within the first probably hour because that's how it felt, if not first 5 minutes. Like when we initially kicked off last year, I was really impressed with just how open and receptive everybody was and the
hmm
deep conversations that were had as well as the lighthearted fun times. So it's something I have now been looking forward to since literally the last day of the last retreat.
Chris, what were some of your favorite parts or highlights that you felt like were um, fun compared to, kind of like how we compared between 2020
Sure.
and then last year?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think the mindset aspect of things made a huge difference in bringing it just to the next level. Even like Les has mentioned, even if you're not an athlete, I think there's some patterns that we all encounter either as women or just as people trying to be healthy. And so having those conversations and relating to other people, I felt was hugely valuable. And definitely like took me by surprise. And I'm looking forward to that this year as well.
Yeah, we had people come from all over. I think we had someone come from Hawaii and just all over the country, and it was really nice. So we'll have a similar setup in terms of if you've ever been to the Arizona Grand for, I think Muscle Contest mostly hosts some bodybuilding competitions there, like USA's and things like that. And um, if you've been to the Arizona Grand, you know that they have basically four gyms within the gym. It's a huge commercial gym with, standard cardio equipment and machines. And then it has kind of like a basement area that has free weights. And that's a whole separate gym on its own. And then it has like kind of like an upstairs level that is a posing area for us, I think. We also used it for our cardio um, circuits, but it's basically like a wooden floor with mirrors. And then we used a racquetball court for yoga. And then we had another racquetball court area that we could sit on mats and kind of chat. And so it's definitely a facility that facilitates a lot of great things. And then we could just walk right outside into the mountain. South Mountain Preserve is on the back side of the fitness center. So we did a hike there, and yeah, it was just a really great setup. And I mean, they have a water park on the property, and they've got like a couple of restaurants. So I think it'll be a really good time.
Definitely. I loved our hike, honestly. That was so much fun. And it was
Yes.
just everything we did. Something I found too with like various events is sometimes as competitors, we worry about, am I going to be able to get my food in? Am I going to get my water in? Am I going to be able to work out? And this is literally designed by you guys to fit those needs of competitors too, which is
Mhm.
something that I really appreciate and think can put some people at ease if they're wondering, how am I going to make this weekend work? Well, it's set up to support competitors, and we'll do our best to make sure you're able to get all those things in, and it's structured in a way where you won't even have to worry about those things.
Yeah, and
That's
I
a really good point.
I like that point too. I remember one of the girls, she was really close to competing, and I think she was like almost in peak week, a couple weeks out, and she was kind of nervous about that. But I planned the itinerary so that there'd be periods of people being able to eat like a pre-workout meal. So maybe they would be doing a talk with you, and we'd be sitting and having our coolers, and then we'd lift, and then we'd like take another break, and have some sort of interaction or curriculum on your part of it while they had like their post-workout meal. So yeah, we definitely facilitate bathroom breaks, all that stuff, like all the things that competitors need for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I love that point. And one thing that I know some people they think of like a athlete retreat, and I think everybody's going to be like ripped and lean and like super like advanced. And I love that you both mentioned that there were people that weren't even competitors that were there. So even if you're in your improvement season, you can come and still like live the prep life and also be included and not have to worry about like what your physique is looking like. Everybody's in different stages, and it is a very accepting community.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Point.
Okay, so let's go over first of all, what are some of the things, Celeste, that you're going to cover as part of your talks and things that you have going on with this retreat?
Well, I really want to cover food relationship in more depth this year because it seemed like such a in-depth conversation that sparked last year, and it was
Mhm.
awesome just to hear what everybody's experiences were, challenges were, struggles, wins, things that have helped them or haven't. So it was really cool, and I just want to give even more time to that because I found that's generally an extensive discussion, but also one that I can give a lot of tools and resources on. I'm also going to discuss various communication strategies. It can be difficult in this sport to really communicate our needs with people who maybe don't understand it or don't get it.
Mm.
And the last thing I want to see is people lose out really important relationships in their life because of an inability to understand their emotions, communicate those emotions, understand their needs, communicate those needs, and also be able to be respectful and considerate of others as well. So I'll do a little bit on communication strategies, definitely want to take everyone through an exercise this year on exploring their values and their goals. I'd like to have everyone leave feeling like their goals really are a non negotiable and
Mm.
help you to establish this balance that's going to be right for you. Because what tends to happen is people get in this like autopilot mode of I'm just going to go, 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 push, push, push. Sometimes that brings us further away from our deeper why. And I'm not talking about like a why of like, I'm doing this to, I don't know, get back at my ex, but I'm saying like your
Yeah.
value, like the things that really matter to you, and understanding you don't have to do what everyone else is doing to be successful, but we can find your best path. That's going to also come with a discussion on setting standards and commitments that are going to serve you in any season and also help you with the longevity, because I'm a big believer that you don't need to give up this sport to have your mental health. And I think what
Mhm.
happens is people believe that you do, or their mental health gets shoved under the rug. They don't look at the things that are problems. And so, by setting standards and commitments that'll serve you in any season, it'll make those transitions easier and it'll support you in seeing that it's really your lifestyle. And then you can have a more fulfilling and empowering journey. I'll also do some psychoeducation on self validation and emotion regulation. We did a little bit on emotion regulation last year. I want to dive a little bit further into the self validation piece, and then maybe we'll discuss some other topics like self esteem, body image, trusting yourself in various situations, exploration of your identity as a competitor. So, those are some things I'm really looking forward to. And we've got some new options this year. I'll probably be doing an
Yes.
immersive food experience as well, which I'm not going to share too much about because it'll spoil the fun. But that's something that's going to really help you engage with mindful eating and satiation. So I call it, well, I'm not even going to say what I call it. You'll just have to come to find out. But it's all about understanding how you can satiate your body at any level and on really any diet. Because I use this even when I'm in the trenches of prep, and it helps me. So I'm excited to share that with those who sign up for that option.
Yeah. And so I wanted to mention what extra things and then basically how the structure of everything will work. So we'll start at 9 a.m. on Saturday and on Sunday, and the events will go until 2 p.m. both days. So you can kind of plan on that, and there'll be lots of things. So, like day one on our end, we'll have 7 trainers on hand that are all, either NASM certified, some sort of certification in personal training, and then all certified nutritionists on the Glam Girl staff. And so some of the things that we'll be covering is like a lower body workout on day one. Coach Drea and I will be leading that. She's a master trainer in Vegas. So you will be very, she is going to do a really good job with that. And then our newest coach, Lee Marie, who is a head coordinator of different boot camps and things, her and Coach Deb are going to be leading cardio class on day one. And then Chris, do you want to go over what you're going to be covering on posing class day one and day two?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Coach Brittany and I will be covering some of the basics, like the comparison round, your standard or mandatory poses, and then we'll also focus on some of the transitions and walking. So, really, we kind of are going to lay the groundwork for what posing really is. Maybe you'll learn some new tips and cues. I felt like a lot of people they connected with different like verbiage last year at the posing section of our retreat. So yeah, we'll just go over a lot of the things to prepare for. But even if you're an experienced poser, I feel like there will be opportunity to learn maybe some new, like I said, cueing that may help be helpful.
Yeah, I think sometimes different people connect with different phrases, or I think maybe even you, Celeste, like you had mentioned that you heard some different cues that kind of connected differently with your brain. Do you want to share with that? Because you're a very experienced poser and you've had lots of years
Mhm.
of practice and training. But I just remember you
Yeah,
said there was something that clicked last year.
I was just thinking that when she said that, I was like, I am an experienced poser, and I still walked away with a lot of new insights and various strategies that you guys shared. And I don't want to blast what those strategies are necessarily, but there were various cues that you gave as far as like the back pose to really help open up the lats and make the shape pop even more. You gave some really solid insight into how to improve balance on stage and making sure, like, when people say, yeah, you need to leave all your weight in one leg, you gave some really cool exercises and things to consider to support with those goals. And it was really awesome. Plus, you're standing there, you're watching other people get feedback, and you're holding your poses. So you're practicing your conditioning on stage just by holding your poses, which
Mm-hmm.
anyone can benefit from, experienced or not. And you're also hearing the feedback other people are getting. So it kind of gives you some insight for yourself as well. So I loved that I got to be a part of that. And it was fun also to see people just kind of connect. Oh, yeah, I liked how she did that. And then it was a very empowering environment too. Another takeaway I had was people would get up there who hadn't had any posing experience and they still owned it. They still did their best and they walked away better than when they came. And everyone in that room was supporting them, cheering them on, helping them. It was a really cool experience. And just to witness women really step into their power and like, yes, this is a goal of mine and I'll put myself out there. It's hard to do that, but I'm going to do it. And then for those who had been experienced, like to vulnerably step into like, I'm going to try something new and that'll be interesting to see how it looks and the feedback I get. So plus, I mean, you have experience with judging and criteria, so there is that side of things where you can give even more of that feedback that not everybody gets generally.
Yeah, and I think it helps too that we had like a lot of eyes on, so our ratios were really good, and you'll find that you'll see the same thing like in the workouts as well. So even though, like, for example, Drea and I are going to be leading the lower body, we'll have other coaches kind of walking around making sure that your form's correct and that you're getting set up on the equipment properly and things are safe. And same with posing. You know, we kind of broke into small groups based on experience and then had like a coach with each small group. So one thing that I felt like was missing is that I really wanted to do sort of like a mock show last year and we just ran out of time. So we're actually adding posing class day 2. And then, Chris, did you want to talk about what that will look like with you and Brittany, kind of as that next day?
Yeah, so a couple of things we'll cover once we've laid the foundation is, individual routines and presenting them, coming from like, either side of the stage and doing it in front of other people. I think it was really good practice. We'll talk about like accepting your awards, anything from like a trophy to a medal over your neck, walking to the back curtain, which happens a lot of times in the overall. So really just kind of like a mock show setup and all of those small little details that you may not get from an individual posing session that focuses a lot just like the routine and the comparison. Like we'll go over how to look good on stage with all of these other components.
Absolutely. Okay. And then for day 2, we're going to cover an upper body workout that will again be Drea, who's a master trainer, and then Elizabeth, who's a NATISM certified personal trainer. And then Elizabeth and I will be doing the recovery class and the yoga class. We sort of impromptu threw that in last year, but this year we're going to have a lot more tips and things like on recovery aspect of your training because that's a super important piece. We just actually, I'm a certified yoga instructor, and after seeing how sore everybody was, um, we just felt like, okay, this is what we need right now. And then it was cool because we were able to incorporate, you had taught us a lot of practices on, and you're going to probably be able to explain this more eloquently than I will, but kind of like that connection with our body as we, go through prep. Sometimes we get disconnected with our body and like the meditation aspect and kind of like the grounding and the corpse pose and yoga and just kind of like feeling those sensations. I think we even did like a progressive muscle relaxation technique and things. So,
Hmm?
but you can probably elaborate on that a little bit more. So,
Yeah, it was a perfect. I feel like it was perfectly complementary to what we had just discussed on stress relieving practices and various things that I had taught. And then when you took us through it, from the yoga practice, it was like we really got to put it into more maybe practical usage as well right then and there. And I think it was also a great reminder that sometimes plans change and we need to listen to our body, and it's okay. And yoga is not just for people who are good at it. I suck at stretching. Like when I can't touch my toes. So I was like, damn, she really wants us to do yoga right now. I don't even want to do it. But I did it and I was like, oh wow, that was really great. Like it felt awesome, and it was a no pressure situation because I know that if I was about to come to a retreat and they're like, we might do yoga, I'd be like, well, no thanks. But I will tell you guys right now, it was awesome, no pressure, just very much listen to your body and promoting of that message of like keeping yourself in that parasympathetic nervous system state and supporting your efforts on a stress relief level as well as a physical relief level.
Love it. Yeah. And then we also have the privilege to have a suit designer on our staff as well. She also works for Angel Competition Bikinis, Deb Basca. So she's going to talk about just like the different suits and the cuts and the color and how to make a good suit selection based on like your complexion, your physique, and all of that. So I felt like that was a valuable talk last year too. So we're going to be bringing that back as well. So, were there other things that you wanted to talk about that you're also? So we should probably talk about the new add-ons, right? So you kind of alluded to the fact that there was well, I won't say what the name of it was, um, but yeah, you're gonna do like a special kind of like VIP experience. That's an add-on, and then I'm actually going to be bringing my EMG equipment, and so is Coach Brittany. And I know that a lot of the coaches, like Chris, is available for extra posing, right?
Yep.
As an add-on, and then like Drea already has some PT, like some personal training type of sessions, one-on-one with her clients, and there's been some people that have added on these different things. So first of all, I wanted to explain what EMG means. So basically, it's an electronic. It kind of like sticks to whatever body part you want to measure the contraction. So a lot of times people pick the glutes, since we are bikini competitors, or typically they'll pick the glutes or the shoulders. So they want to see what exercises activate that particular muscle group. And so what I do with the EMG is, let's say we're focusing on glutes. So we go through all the traditional glute exercises that could possibly get engagement. And it's so fun to do this from a practitioner standpoint because I see different things with every single person. So some exercises are more conducive for different bodies, and we can see directly on the numbers that they hit in their contractions with the EMG sensor that, you know, this exercise is superior to like XYZ, this other one. Or, you know, variations. We can kind of see, like, even just with the hip thrust, how much more glute activation occurs when, you know, we do a band around the thighs, or different foot positions depending on if the person's quad dominant or hamstring dominant. And it's just a really cool thing. And so I have a couple people signed up for that. I will tell you that if you were to buy a session like this on our website, you're getting it for half the price. So this could be either before the 9 a.m. sessions or after the 2 p.m. sessions. So these are private add-ons for you as an individual to book so that you can have something customized to you. And it's very eye-opening experience. Same if you really want to get your shoulders to activate, these EMGs are perfect for that. Anything that I'm missing, Chris, in terms of like the add-ons when it comes to like personal training and things like that, or posing?
I don't think so. How long do you want to let people know how long the sessions are? Like EMG testing is like a 30-minute session, correct?
I believe all of the personal training are 30 minutes, and then all of the posing. So I typically like to do an hour, but I think for this one we did a half an hour, yes, because
Okay.
of the time constraints. But for the posing, do you want to kind of tell them about what that would look like if they're doing an individual versus just the 2 sessions as part of the retreat with the big group?
Yeah, absolutely. So one-on-one posing will give us the opportunity to really fine-tune the your specific physique. Because a lot of times we don't get to go through like every single transition pose, and I get to, ask you about your weight distribution or your hip position, or we talk about like what your core should be looking like for each of the positions as well. So if we have a one-on-one session together, um, or with one of our other posing coaches, we sh- it should be an opportunity to really just like go through your routine with a fine-tooth comb if you're, a polished competitor already and you just kind of want to work on those transitions, the presentation, have an extra eye to catch anything that may be off. And then if you're brand new, it's a great opportunity to just get like a good foundation of making sure that you're understanding the mandatory poses and that we are going through them in like a specific pattern so that they're sticking with you and we're getting some good muscle memory as well. So again, it's just like taking that what you need specifically as an athlete with your posing and applying that information directly to your specific needs.
Yeah. Okay, Celeste, do you want to just kind of let the listeners know what it would look like to be in that room? I know that it's hard to kind of like verbalize that um, in terms of like how that group setting looks like when you're kind of coaching us through the mindset part of things. I know for me, it was cool because I'm more of a kinesthetic learner, and I thought it was cool that you incorporated, not only just like verbal and so auditory learning and then the visual learning with the workbook, but you also kind of like had us up moving around and interacting with one another, which I thought was cool too.
Yes, that's a really great way of putting it. I love having a workbook for the workshops because I'm very much like a writing learner. Like I like to write things down as I learn them and like journal, and I'm a big advocate for journaling, so there is journaling throughout. As far as the like when you walk in and we're doing a session for us, maybe that's going to include some group work together. Like last year, we did a group self concept exercise that was pretty fun and uncomfortable for many, but ended up getting some good conversations and insight going. And then we'll do some individual discussions too. So, like, if you have something you've been struggling with, the whole point is for you to be able to talk about these things, open up, and get the support that you need. And I guarantee you there's going to be other people in that room who are going through something similar or who have been. So when we're doing the work on the mindset, it's not just psychoeducation where you're just coming, listening, and hoping for the best when you get home. It's actual hands-on tools and feedback and support that I hope that you'll leave and be able to continuously apply, from daily routines to mealtime rituals to things that you can be considering if you're struggling with communication, or things that you can utilize for emotional health and well-being. So there's going to be a lot of emphasis not just on those topics, but how to apply them in your life. So yes, there'll be group work, there'll be individual work, and with the immersive experience, the one that's an add-on, you can imagine that's going to be very much hands-on as well. There's going to be food provided for that. I'm going to take you through a series of exercises as we go through the food. I will bring, or you can bring your food scale as well if you want to track it. And I always buy things that have packaging as well so you can see what it is, or better track it if you needed to. But that's going to be like a nice little group exercise that we do to really engage with each other, compare experiences with the food, and see how satiated we feel by engaging in that activity.
Yeah, and one thing that I felt like was missing last year is that as a group, we didn't really do anything outside of those hours of 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So I think you're going to have a lot more opportunities to connect with people one on one with these add ons, but then you're also going to have that experience of Saturday night. We're going to do sort of like a red carpet event. So there's a restaurant on the hilltop at the peak of, basically it's right behind the fitness center at the Arizona Grand, and it's up on the hill, so you can see the sun setting. It's very beautiful. They have a lot of outdoor seating, and they're going to accommodate. It has a pretty nice menu, so if you're able to have like a refeed meal, or maybe you're doing an untracked meal, depending on where you're at in your prep, it'll just be a nice opportunity to sit down and break bread with these individuals that we've kind of like interacted with all day, and be in a social setting. So that'll be Saturday night. So if you are planning on going to the retreat, I would say book your plane ticket to come in probably at like 4 p.m., no later, on Friday, so you can get checked in, settled in, and then be ready to wake up on Saturday morning, the 18th of February, and get started at 9 a.m. And then I would make sure that your flight, that you can stay Sunday until 2 p.m. So I wouldn't book anything earlier than like a 4 p.m. flight, just so you're giving yourself plenty of time to get to the airport and get situated that way. Was there anything I missed logistically before I talk about the special discount that you get since you listen to the end of this podcast?
I think that's it.
I'd agree.
Okay. So if you have tuned in and you've made it this far without, stopping the recording, then you will get a special 10% off. And the discount code is good all the way up until the day of the event. Remember, if you're in the Phoenix area, or if you're within driving distance, you don't have to stay at the Arizona Grand Resort. You can just come for the day and participate in the events. But the discount code is all caps podcast. So very easy to remember. But should I put it in the show notes, or should we make them listen and get it that way? Either way, I'll put the registration link for sure in the show notes. So yeah, with that, you can find our podcast on at Pref Life Podcast, or you can find the team at Glam Girl Bikini on Instagram. Celeste, do you want to share your Instagram handles so that people could connect with you and find you? I'm so appreciative that you came on today.
Oh, me too. No, this is awesome, and I'm going to be posting this to my podcast as well, so I'm glad you shared yours. Mine is celestial_fit. If you guys have questions or need resources, feel free to reach out anytime.
Yeah, and so those of you that are listening on Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast, my name is Amy Anger, and I will also put that in the show notes. And on Instagram, Chris, you are?
I'm Chris Nicole _IFBB Pro.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys, and we will catch you next time.